come after them, right? Well, where does that stop? Where does it start and stop?
Exactly.
Are we going to go back to the McCarthyism era? Are we going to start blacklisting folks?
Right.
How long before it gets to you, where you thought maybe you were touched or privileged to some degree, and now you're not? And I can tell you, I was a registered Republican for most of my life, so that I could be aware of what is happening, but also because I was ill-informed growing up, about how to fit into this society. But once I took the time to really learn about policy, politics, legislation, how things come to be, who's responsible for that, and then really understanding our country's budgets, all the different line items, and how much waste we spend on the military industrial complex and the war machine, but don't invest in our veterans that are returning back from those tragedies. And so it's really important that we stay engaged and have these conversations with our politicians and don't let them fall out of working for the people. And that's what we're seeing, is people who are trying to push agendas for their friends, for their businesses, for the wealthy, and continue to really put their thumb down on us. And it's not a good feeling. And when I made the decision to denounce being a Republican in Arizona 4 years ago, I remember it was a really big deal. And I was disappointed that I saw a lot of people who stopped talking about being a Republican, but didn't publicly say, I'm really mad at my party, or I'm really mad at what's happening in my state, or these representatives are lacking character and integrity. That takes a lot of courage to be a part of a party or a group and to say, hey, you guys are doing stuff wrong. And you need to get it together. And they weren't willing to do that at that time. They kept pushing themselves further and further to that crazy MAGA fray. And so I denounced that, and I was feeling jaded for a while. And there are a lot of people I don't talk to in the veteran world of Arizona anymore because of politics, right? But when Harris was announced, that she was taking over the reins of Biden, Arizona, Phoenix, on that following Friday had its very first Harris rally. And I saw people at that rally I thought I would never see publicly ever being in it, in any Democratic spaces. And I'm talking about white, male, combat served veterans were there with their wives and their daughters. And that's when I knew something's different. Everybody's
tired. The Mesa mayor. The Mesa mayor who spoke at that rally, John Giles. I told him, I said, listen, we may not see things the right way, but because you are indeed a patriot, in the form of a patriot, I said, I will knock doors for you. And he was like, wow. I was like, I will knock doors for you. I said, because this is what this is about. This is not the other stuff. And so, but then the last thing I want to say is, I tell people, back to our original premise about, what could happen in this country. The former president of the United States has said he will give law enforcement federal qualified immunity. And
that right there is scary.
I have to tell people, do you know what that means? That means,
well, I don't think they do, Signa.
They could kill us and there's no repercussions. They could do anything they want and there's never going to be consequences for them doing so. And I've had uneducated people come to me and well, the states will have, I said, there's something called the supremacy clause. Do not argue with somebody with a Juris Doctorate. Okay. Do I need to recite the supremacy clause to you in the United States Constitution that says that the federal law, if there's disputes between states, the federal law reigns supreme? I said, that's the whole thing in the supremacy clause. And it's just an anathema to me that people don't take this seriously and think it can't happen.
To them.
We're seeing vestiges of it in Arizona. I've sat, some of the stuff from Project 2025 has been already trying to be enacted in Arizona. I sit on a Veterans Council for the Attorney General, and one of our Republican state reps a year ago tried to bring forth legislation that said public school children have to, it's required that they take the ASVAB. The ASVAB is the entry test
to the military.
to the military, and that's part of Project 2025.
Oh, come on. Okay, that's segue into breaking down some of the points of the Project 25 while you there.
But they had a problem with it when it was No Child Left Behind.
Yeah.
The Obama administration.
Yeah.
And they allowed recruiters to come back into the schools.
Yeah. And I'm gonna put some you have to let me, I guess, put some links in there to that's like breaks down Project 2025, because it is a behemoth. I mean, it is 900 and some odd pages. No, not many people are going to read that.
No,
but it is.
And a lot of people think that it's not real.
They think it's not real.
It's very real.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why the Dobbs decision occurred. These things have been in place since the 80s. We just didn't know.
It is waiting for a right leader to enact it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of information out there, but see, this is what people don't understand, the history. It's called the Mandate for Leadership. That's the official name of it. It's the Conservative Project. This is just the 2025 version. This started in the 70s. Ronald Reagan, when he was the president, implemented 60% of the Mandate for Leadership then. And so I was talking to a lady and she was like, well, would it really be? I said, so what's 60% of Project 2025 are you okay with implementing?
And we already know that trickle-down economics didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it
trickle-down didn't work.
It didn't.
Trickle-down.
Because look at all the recessions we've had, in hindsight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that people won't. And then Project, what is called Agenda 47 is just the video version of Project 2025. And so if you don't want to read it, and I'd say most people won't, but there's places you can go, and I put it in our chat because apparently it's not letting me put it in the comments.
Yeah, and you can put it in you put it in the private. I can.
I put it in the private. See if you can move it over. But this is heavy duty, and it hits all areas of our lives. And I know me and JoJo, one of the things it does, it specifically comes against veterans benefits. So we served our country, and you're going to try to put roadblocks in front of people that signed a blank check to serve the country? I think not. You won't be doing that. But it is, the bottom line is, it gives tremendous power. If nobody remembers anything else, it gives tremendous power to the executive, meaning the president, and it also expands the powers of the courts.
It ruins our checks and balances.
Yeah, the checks and balances are almost gone, eliminated. If this goes forward, we cannot allow this to happen. And it's so much in it that you should just shake when you hear about the impact, removing the Department of Education.
Yeah, I was about to say,
a dumb populace is best. Yeah. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot. But I'll drop some stuff, and if you can move it over in the chat.
It's in the chat now.
So and then I'll put it in go and look for themselves. Don't take my word. Just go and look at it and watch the videos. The videos make you shake once you really get into them, because I've watched them and I'm just like, what in the honest, what is this?
Yeah, it's do you, like you said, with the education, hold on, I'm just putting it in the comment here, the one that you just sent me again.
Yeah.
So and you know, a lot of people are like, oh, like you said, oh, it's not real, or they're not gonna really do that, or it's made up. No, it's not. And see, and that's how stuff gets by people because they don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
No.
It's definitely time to take everything seriously.
Yeah, we have to take this serious because, like you said, Signa, even what really got me is like a lot of parts of it. The whole thing got me, but what really is that immunity for the police. Like, oh my God, can you? I don't even want to imagine. You know, I have a little, you know, Blasian nephew. You know, he's mixed with, you know, Japanese and black, you know, and but his skin, you know, he's brown, you know, and it's not just stopping with the boys. I mean, the girls, the women, you know, you see that, you know, it's not a hashtag for us as well, you know, and it's I
We
just
had a black professor at ASU get body slammed to the ground on campus by a police officer for jaywalking on a street that was closed for construction. So if they're already doing stuff like that without immunity, imagine what happens when
they have full immunity.
yeah.
And that's
And we
why the
already have people who
FOP,
are elected to office who are on the Brady list, dog. Like you already been deemed unqualified, unethical, and problematic. So why do you get to even run for office now?
yeah, when the FOP endorsed him, the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, endorsed a convicted felon. That tells you all you need to know.
Who sent people to attack Capitol Police? I mean, it's just you just.
You can't make
There's not a
this up.
contrast. The choice is so obvious.
You would think.
And I need people to understand, like, we are in a country of turmoil, and if we don't fix this now, like, then we've got to be people like Signa says that holding on to passports to figure out where we're going to live. No, we're going to work hard to make sure everybody has a thriving life in the United States and that we all have the equity that we deserve, that we all have a roof over our head, that we all have access to food, and a way to provide for our families that doesn't involve, well, you got to be in this box, you go over here, you got to have less than this person. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me, this division.
And you know what? You know, coming from, because I am a Christian, like, you know, because that's how it's, oh my God. When I tell you that the divide, even in the Christian sector, it's horrible, because I know people personally. I mean, it's just like they're not moving, they're not budging, they're not they're not. They're like, you know, I'm not going to be subject to, you know, these fear tactics. I'm like, what? What fear tactics? I'm like, that's from fear tactics from the other side. What are we talking about? But so, you know, like with the whole, and we've done this. I've said this on this platform before. You know, the whole it's only two issues that the Christians or evangelicals, we should say, because it's a difference. It's a difference. So with the evangelicals, you know, they're just hell bent on those two issues, you know, which are, you know, abortion and homosexuality. What business is it of yours?
This is what I tell them. This is what I tell them, Lonnie. I said, so Christian, tell me how many times Jesus, the red stuff, the hot sauce, mentioned abortion, because they were having abortions then. How many times did he mention abortion in the New Testament? The answer is none. So if he didn't harp on abortion, why are you? Why are you?
Why are you?
Why are you? because you've been told to, because you've been conditioned to, because people have lied to you. Before the 70s, this was not even an issue in the Christian church.
Mm-hmm.
This was manufactured, just like the border issue and everything, to give them some reason to pull you in by your nose and make you think something is happening that's not. Mm-hmm. Women are not carrying babies for 8 or 9 months. Those of us that have carried babies, your body by the 8th or 9th month is a mess. And then deciding, you know what? I'm done with this. I need to go shopping. Take this baby. No one is doing that. Right. No one is doing that. And of course, doctors are not waiting until after the child is born, because that's not abortion anymore. That's now infanticide. If you kill the baby.
Isn't that what 45 said during the
Yeah, he was talking about murder.
That's called murder. That's called murder, you know. But no one is doing that. I had a miscarriage between my children. I was married. I was past the time in Arizona that I would have been able to get the health care I needed. The baby was gone. Because of my faith, I had the doctor had to convince me my baby was gone before I would let him go take it. He said, "You're going to die, Signa, if I don't get this baby. I have to get the baby out of you."
Yeah.
But today, I wouldn't have been able to have that procedure done in Arizona because I was past the 15 weeks.
Yeah. And Vance, people who seeking people, y'all please read this thing or look at the video, because with the IVF, they don't want to. I'm like, why are you trying to have control over our bodies? What's going on with that? What I don't
want. The IVF is fetal personage. That a egg is a person now, and they have all the rights and privileges of a whole person. Make it make sense. If people understood how fragile pregnancy is very fragile. Our bodies, many women's bodies eliminate the baby because it's not viable before we know we're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my doctor had to explain that to me. He's like, the fact that we have pregnancies that come to term is an amazing feat, because pregnancies are fragile. Anything can affect your body and eliminate the baby. So you're telling me if my body decides that it's not viable, I've got to wait until I'm almost dead before you'll give me the care I need, because my life doesn't mean a thing.
Right.
My life doesn't mean a thing. I'm not a person anymore. This tissue that is trying to eliminate itself, but needs help, medical help, to get it out of my body. That's wrong.
Right. I don't get it. Is there anything else that you guys want to speak to the audience regarding the issues this election? Feel free to just let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talked about a lot of issues, but I really want to harp on the importance of voting and being a part of the voting process, especially where you live. And I'm not just talking about the president and the vice president.
Right.
We're talking about what's happening in your state. Yes, so if there are folks that you have